All right, we're going to talk about adjusting springs today. What we want to do on the Summit is try to get this ride height to be level or slightly high in the rear end. So the way you do that is you put the truck on a bench and then push down on it. You want the springs to be soft enough to not bring the truck all the way to full ride height, but rather settle kind of in a midpoint. So if we look at that, mine's riding a little bit above midpoint, which is how I want it, because I want it to be able to run off-road and have plenty of ground clearance. So that's why we're doing that. So to adjust the springs, we're going to use these collars, and I'll zoom in there in just a second. They're just a threaded shock body, which is really nice because you can adjust the preload real easily. So as you can see, the rear needs to be brought up a little bit, bring it up to level, and I'm going to leave the front alone. So let's move in here now with the camera, and I'll show you how I do that. Alright, so we're just going to adjust these knurled nuts that are on the threaded shock body. Very high quality. I'm just going to turn them with my fingers, and we'll turn those. Give it a little more preload. I'm turning that counterclockwise if you're looking from the rear of the truck for the right hand shock in the rear. And so let's take our scale. This is an old scale. It reads in tenths, which is kind of handy because it makes it a little bit easier to read. So I'm going to take a measurement off the shock cap to the knurled nut, and that's a little over 0.3 inches. So I'm going to back in and check that again. And that's right at 0.3 inches. So do the same thing for the other side. It helps to pick the truck up slightly, take that spring load off the shock, so it's easier to turn the nut. And now that we have the other one set, we can use it as a reference. Of course, we're still going to take a measurement to make sure it's accurate. We want the springs to be adjusted equally on both sides so the truck rides evenly, not lean side to side. So if I take another measurement there, I don't know if you can see, we're going to take that, and that's also 0.3 inches. Check this one more time. Maybe back this one off slightly. I think it was a little more than 0.3. And there we go. Looks good. So very simple to adjust your preload. Depending on what you're doing with your vehicle, you may want to have it harder spring or a softer spring. If you're carrying a lot of payload with your vehicle, you may crank this preload up quite a bit because the vehicle's going to, of course, push down on the springs. But now our vehicle's sitting nice and level. And I'm not going to show this on camera, but I'll go ahead and adjust the front ones as well. They're adjusted fairly well. I'm just going to make sure they're equal side to side. So that's it. Quick video on how to adjust your springs on your Summit. And next video, we'll be doing some toe in and camber adjustment. Well, I thought I better show you what my adjustment is on the front suspension. So for my setup, I'm going to run 0.2 inches. So if we measure from the knurl to the shock cap, that gap is 0.2 inches. Just thought I'd share that with you. Have a good day.